Welcome back to Troubleshooter. We're going to go ahead and do for today. So we're fighting against the clowns, apparently. At Tier Empire, Front Armor Territory. Hanson. Who are those people? 2 years after the World War broke out. News of the war against the savage Karis Union in the northern part reported in the Attier Empire, but just a story from the Front Armor Territory farmer far from the northern battlefield. War is the duty that the aristocrats must fulfill. The commoners entrust them with the safety and faithful work for their duties. It's in the way of life that's been passed along with the people living on this land for hundreds of years. Displaced people again. Hanson had never seen a group of outsiders passing in the village while living in the Front Armored Territory. Therefore, the appearance of a group of displaced people who have lost their hometowns due to the war and headed to the capital was just unfamiliar no matter how many times he saw it. It seems they have a hard time because of the war. The displaced people abandoned their hometowns, which were engulfed in the flames of war, and chose to evacuate. Lords of the northern region close to the front refused to accept displaced people and asked the lords of the south to accept displaced people. There was a good justification for the Attier Empire to wage war with the Karis Union, but the war situation was becoming unfavorable to the Attier Empire, and the number of displaced people continued to increase. Whenever displaced people settled in the Front Armored Territory, the Lord collected additional taxes. At first, it was imposed on landlords who ran large farms, but soon after, it began to be imposed on small, self-employed farmers such as Hanson. I'm sure they need a lot of this to take care of all those people. Hanson has lived without problems on his land from his grandfather to his father, was not negative about additional taxes on these special situations. This is because he did not doubt that if he paid his taxes faithfully, the nobles would risk their lives to protect this land. The situation will end soon. I'll focus on my work. I hope it ends sooner. Hanson was just a farmer. Facing conscription. What'd you say, sir? Upon visiting him, the Imperial Army conscription officer suddenly looks at Hanson, surprised by the yellow envelope. Sir, I'm afraid I've never volunteered. The conscription officer remains silent without replying to Hanson's words. I'm an ordinary farmer. I think there's definitely something wrong. There's a guy named Hanson in the village who likes to brag. It's him you want, isn't it? He often told the villagers that he wanted to participate in the war and achieve glorious exploits. Yeah, if someone volunteered for the army in the village, it was definitely him. I've already visited Hanson. This enlistment notice is yours, Hanson. Hanson was surprised and speechless. And your tractor will also be transferred to the war supplies by vehicle mobilization decree. Huh? Sir, I'm sure there's been a mistake. I inherited this tractor from my father. It's mine. I understand how you feel, but this tractor is no longer yours. I don't understand. Don't worry, at the end of the war, the compensation will be strictly made. This doesn't make any sense. Something is definitely wrong. I'll complain to the lord of the village head. I have nothing more to say, so please leave. Hanson. Fortunately, this enlistment notice is a notice distributed by the Duke of Front Armor in accordance with His Majesty's decree. His Majesty the Emperor? Yes, it's an edict of His Majesty. His Majesty is also well aware that this mobilization order is breaking the tradition of hundreds of years. That's how much danger the Empire is in. Therefore, despite the wartime situation, His Majesty ordered us to explain and deliver it directly to the conscripted person. All persons subject to conscription who refuse enlistment are subject to national treason. Also, if you do not come by the gathering place by the date, you will be punished by the same crime. Sir, please, I'm a commoner. I'm not a noble. I apologize. We nobles are so powerless that we need to ask for your help. But don't think you need to stop this land from being burned down by barbaric northerners. An enlistment notice never crossed his mind. Hanson receives a yellow envelope from the conscription officer with trembling hands. Thank you, Hanson. All the people of the Empire, including His Majesty the Emperor, will appreciate sacrifices of young people like you. Most of the Templars formed at the time Hanson was conscripted or put in the battlefield were undisciplined. All they could do is buy time for the regular army to reorganize. On completion of about 8 weeks of military training, the members of the Templar were organized on a company or battalion scale, deployed to the frontline base to block the course of the Karis Union forces advancing to the capital of the Atir Empire. Only one order was given to them: defend the base to the end. Members of the Templar who deployed to the base under this order are mostly annihilated within a short day or less than a week. Destroyed Braze, comrade. Ugh. Are you okay? Hanson. Crap. I knew I'd end up like this. Don't talk too much, you're bleeding. I don't want to move a corpse. Just leave me behind. Can't do that. My boss ordered me to move you back. What a dumb boss. He's dumb indeed. Last thing he said before he died. I'll do whatever I can to take you to the rear guard unit, so stay conscious until then. Since there was no order to retreat for the members of Templar, leaving the base was considered desertion and was disciplined according to military law. However, the Atir Empire did not deal with them by military law because it could not fully control the Templar of each base and had to buy time to reorganize the regular army. Instead, soldiers who could be put back in were immediately incorporated into newly organized Templar and sent back to the front lines. I'm too tired. Hey, I told you to stop talking. A year after the Templar was deployed, war showed no signs of ending, and the conscripted members of Templar from all over the Empire repeatedly disbanded and reformed. And in the process, members of the Templar who managed to survive truly understood the meaning of their conscription. There's a rumor that the Templar where we will join is the rear unit is the Hanged Clown. After the Templars put into the war, the Hanged Clown ignored uniform base protection order and engaged in independent guerrilla wars, delaying the enemy's advance. However, the Imperial Army Command could not afford to sanction the independent actions of the Templar Hanged Clown, which violated a military decree. In addition, the recognition of the longer than expected delay in the enemy's advance, the Imperial Army Command decided not to hold Hanged Clown responsible for its tactical operation as long as it achieved its strategic goal. A year later, the Hanged Clown, led by remnants of defeating troops, continued to grow in size and became the biggest headache for the Karis Union. If we arrive in the rear guard unit like this, we are much likely the members of the Hanged Clown when we march into the battlefield. Hanged Clown was the most favored unit of the conscripts. For the members of the Templar who survived under the commanders who were prepared to be annihilated solely to protect the base, a commander who could move independently according to the strategy was much more reliable. So let's cheer up, friend. Hanson, a wounded soldier who Hanson met at a destroyed base while retreating from the battlefield. Contrary to their wishes, Hanson and Hanson became members of different Templar units in the process of reorganizing, but soon after, eventually met again at the Hanged Clown. 3 years later, the war ended. Ever since being conscripted, Hanson had wanted to leave the battlefield. However, Hanson, who has returned to his hometown after the end of the war, finds himself anxious as he returns to a peaceful life before being drafted. He often quarreled with someone. In the process, he used to speak and act violently without realizing it. Eventually, he accepts Ben Snyder's proposal and joins the private military company Hanged Clown. He goes back to the battlefield and continues his mercenary career for a while. This is really awkward. Hanson, things have changed. We had to change too. 3 powers created Valhalla through the Valhalla Project and became post-war recovery quickly. In the process, as the security gap began to decrease, Ben Schneider closed the private military company Hanged Clown. And in Valhalla, a free trade city, he envisions a new business: the Drifter Clowns. Among those who belonged to Hang Clown, those who were attracted to Ben's new business followed Ben to become founding members of Drifter Clown. A neat suit hides all ugliness, even in the harsh tone actions you've learned from the battlefields. It is what Ben said at the inauguration ceremony in the white suit after throwing away his combat uniform. How many times have you said that? About 20 people gathered for the inauguration ceremony for the Drifter Clowns. Ben wearing a suit was an unfamiliar sight to everyone since he had only worn combat outfits for a decade. Cool sayings must be memorized. Ben gave a lengthy speech at the inauguration ceremony for the Drifter Clowns, what they should be aiming for. The same position, system, and management as a general office company. Work targeting criminal organizations hiding in cities, not battlefields. Guarantee of various expenses incurred by the company's work. Payment of several allowances in case of quitting the company. Company dress code. Other organizational regulations different from the previous Hang Clown were unfamiliar to Hanson, but were changes he wanted to try. I could bear shaving my head to some extent. Isn't it weird to wear a clown mask? It is a bit repulsive, yes. However, the exposure to identifying the field will interfere with the work, so it can't be helped. Still, they say you can't have to wear a mask from the manager's position, so if you're frustrated by that, you should get promoted quickly. Manager. Former executives Hang Clown started at the executive positions, but you and me and Wei, we had to start at the bottom. Is there anything we can do about that? Unlike us, they've been with Ben for a long time, and to be honest, they're so powerful we don't dare to compare. There's nothing to envy Hanson. They just started a little earlier than us. Hanson continued to talk about his new challenge for a while. The new challenge. He returned home after the war, but he couldn't live as before he returned to the battlefield. In that sense, it was once again a challenge for him to leave the battlefield as a member of the Drifter Clowns. So would this be okay? Okay, I'll buy this too. I really don't look good in suits. Competition. What in the world are those crazy guys? Whoever they are, we'll lose everything we got. Just run. As wealth accumulated in Valhalla, a criminal organization gathered. Drifter Clowns mainly went after those organizations and looted the wealth they had accumulated. Hanson. We have to catch them now. Soon there'll be a street full of people. Crap, are they athletes? Both of them are so good at running. If I could use a gun, I'd shoot them in the leg and the situation would be over. The Drifter Clowns avoided civilians getting caught up in the order to minimize the conflict. For the same reason, the use of guns was also prohibited. Stop talking nonsense. Count to 3 and we'll catch up to him with a sprint. I'll get the guy with the holding and brief it. Case, then I'll take the money with the bad guy. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Hanson and Hanson narrowing the distance, sprinting toward criminals and colleagues who are busy following them. Those two are always way ahead of everyone. After completion of this work, Hanson's becoming a manager. What makes them so different than me? Hanson and Hanson compete with each other and build their achievements in the Drifter Clowns. Achievements accumulate, leading to promotion. In this repetitive daily life, the time Hanson spent as a member of the Drifter Clowns came to eclipse the time he spent as either a conscripted soldier or mercenary. They're coming. Everyone get ready. Congrats, Department Head Hanson. Congrats on your promotion. Go ahead and blow out the candles, you guys. Go ahead, Hanson. My arms hurt. On the day, Hanson, who's been deputy manager for a long time and was promoted to the head of the department, and Renzi gathered the team staff and held a surprise celebration. Now, you can be proud of yourself, Hanson. I'm so happy for your promotion. Thanks, guys. This is a gift we prepared with all our hearts. Renzi put on nice formal shoes at Hanson's feet. So much more than I expected. Hanson hadn't expected a surprise party. Hanson bowed his head and expressed sincere gratitude. I know you all had a hard time working with me. Although I lack the capability, I will do my best to help our team continue to perform and receive good treatment. The Drifter Clown was a group of criminals, no one can deny that. What they did every day was the violence-based intimidation, extort, and looting. Such a life, this event felt pure and warm to Hanson above all else. You gonna buy us dinner? Really? Ah, Hanson, you know what? You should. What are you guys saying? It's this day we should celebrate. Renzi, okay, it's okay. Let go. I'll buy today's dinner for you guys. Wow, my first dinner with the team. I asked him to buy dinner first. She should thank me for this. Everyone gather in front of the office when it's time to go home. I look forward to today's dinner. Thank you, Hanson. Huh. Last day at work. The deadline given by the general manager, Ben, was a week, and said it was his last chance. Even till the last of the deadline, Hanson could not complete the mission. A week goes by really fast. Hanson had thought there was only Bianca and Alyssa, and that the difficult part would be finding the two. The mission was overall viable. However, it was difficult to even approach Bianca and Alyssa after they joined the Troubleshooter Team Wolfgar. So I must leave the company now. Renzi would be glad to hear it. Renzi had been working with him for a long time. He was a little astonished, but he could be trusted when it came to work. When Hanson leaves, he'll be at least promoted to deputy manager and take over the team. If it were possible, I wanted to promote him faster and with proper results. Hanson could have made a final attempt at regaining the painting over the past week, although the chances of success were low. However, his employees who saw him being strongly reprimanded by Ben avoided him when they entered the office. Yeah, they wouldn't want to push themselves too hard under a man who would eventually leave. Hanson looked back at his actions when his bosses left. I should have been nicer to the seniors. Hanson checked his cell phone. Sanson and Hanson always kept in touch when they had a hard time, but there's nothing from Sanson. Would Sanson be following Ben's business trip? Hanson didn't bother to contact Sanson either. I should at least say goodbye. Anxiety filled his heart. Hanson stood there reminiscing on the past till the sun rose. It's not midday until Hanson realized he was staring blankly. Oh my, look at the time. Took a long breath and shook off his thoughts. Today's task is to move supplies to the new base. Okay, easy and simple one would be one good last task. Hanson's keeping distance, but there's a police car following us. Yeah. What should we do? Can you guys give him the slip? Nope. It's a one-way street. Even on the last day, not easy at all. After passing the next hill, speed up, widen the distance as much as possible, and prepare to give him an ambush attack. Got it. Let's settle it here. These are additional supplies just in case anything happens, so why don't we throw them away and get out of this route? I don't think the police will follow us up here since they're busy collecting the trailer. Doesn't seem like the police have tracked us all the way up to retrieve these trailers. Then why don't we bring them closer to the hideout and cooperate with the guys over there? In that case, there's a risk of exposing the shelter's location if we miss any enemy. Then we'll kill them all. No. An unexpected situation can occur at any time. Okay, we're the ones who are hired anyway. We'll do what we're told. Albus, the trailers stopped in front of you. Giselle and Alyssa predicted all this. Let's get out of the car and approach the trailer. Boss, Albus. Just as expected. Everyone get out of the building, secure the nearest base. Ruins, left side of the road. I'll assist the team, which prepared various countermeasures in anticipation of the unexpected situation, gets off the police car and secures the base in the ruins. This would have been chaos if we haven't considered it in advance. There's a biker on in front. Again? Trust me and do your best. Okay. As planned, I'll take the lead. Alright. I'll support you from behind with all my strength. Alright, I'm counting on you. There's a lot of enemies ahead. Hold your current position for now. Yes, ma'am. There's the right side of the road. We'll take the closest one first, and since the enemies and allies are both divided in the road, we'll take down all the enemies on our side and attack the rest from behind. Okay, got it. What if the enemies attack us from behind? Don't worry, I got your back. Yeah. Take out all the enemies. Okay. Well, I'm going to stop the video here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and you have a good rest of your day.